a short video about unconscious patterns that play themselves out in us, seeking the light of awareness and love. I'm not sure whether you've noticed within your own life, but there seem to be patterns that are just endlessly coming around again and again and again, almost like habitual ruts that rise up in certain circumstances or at certain times, certain configurations that seem to have a momentum of their own. And these many unconscious patterns are in danger or always of becoming ruts in our lives, in our behavior, in our way of being in the world. Hence the constant call that I make, and I'm not alone in doing that, to awareness, to a deeper awareness of who we are and how we function and what's going on under the hood. Most of these unconscious patterns of behavior, thought and emotion have arisen because of childhood dynamics, because of childhood issues, because of things that happened during childhood, dramatic things or sudden things, chronic things or acute things. And they are, it's always the same on this channel or the things that I'm talking about, but this is a very specific thing to see, in a way, to have an ever deeper insight into, hold on a minute, this is the playing out of an old pattern, of an old dynamic, of something deep within that has been brought into being for some reason, usually because of the dynamic of the constellation with parents, with mummy on one hand and on daddy on another hand, or something that I've witnessed with them. And for the sake of my own survival or my own strategy to get love, which is what much of our behavior, our unconscious behavior, our childish behavior, it's not to put it down, it's just to name it as such, is about getting love and approval and safety and nurturing. And so when those things have been threatened or destabilized in life, in our very early life, they tend to, we internalize this dynamic because it's so powerful. And then we take that dynamic of needing love, of needing recognition or needing control or any of these kind of ways of being, very primal. Take those out into the world, and we, in an unsuspecting, unconscious way, then play themselves out usually in relationship after relationship after relationship, and without bringing those patterns to light in a way, and to holding them in a deeper equanimity and awareness, even as they play themselves out on the personal level, the more we can see into ourselves, then the more that they play out in awareness, the more they play out with this insightfulness that the patterns are not who I really intrinsically am. There's a deeper level to me, there's a deeper essence to me, and all of this stuff that is playing itself out, the unconscious patterns, that were built on strategies ultimately of survival and love, the survival of the self, are seeking to get to the light. And I am the light that they're trying to get to, the light of my own love, the light of my own welcoming, unconditional nature, which is deeper than the self, deeper than the stuff, deeper than the pain, deeper than the suffering, deeper than the ruts. It's really important to know that we're not just stuck on the level of self, the level of the hamster wheel of self that has the ruts carved into them in childhood and then just endlessly plays out these ruts in later life, on and on and on, for no reason at all. We're almost like, slaves or actors, to whatever has been carved into us in childhood. And at a certain point, we have to transcend that. And I don't mean by transcending it, leaving it and bypassing it and going into the clouds or into some other dimension. I mean transcending it by going deeper than it. Deeper than it. So we become the love that holds the patterns that need to play themselves out. This is a deep call, deep, profound call to a presence that we have at our root. And it's not necessarily easy. It's not easy to access that, but the only way we can access that is through awareness and softening. Awareness to start seeing, not outside, to bring that awareness to see inside, to see the patterns that are playing themselves out in us on an ever deeper level, and a kindness to them. Awareness, kindness. Awareness to see them, kindness to love them, even as they play themselves out. Because that which is coming, trying to work its way through time, the unconscious patterns, kind of seeking the light, it's extremely intelligent in us, the energies that are trying to unravel in us, that seek to come to the light, that we're so used to pushing down again, suppressing and, denying or avoiding. Eventually, we start allowing them, and as we allow them, so they hurt, and we hurt because they hurt, because the unconscious is meeting the conscious. The unconscious pattern is meeting the light of awareness or of love. Let's say love, it's easier. So as the unconscious pattern of all that was denied starts coming up to the light of love within us, that meeting place, that juxtaposition, is a place of pain. Pain. And we don't like pain, of course, but the art, the skill is to open wider than the pain and to know that the pain of that meeting is a healing pain. It's not a pain of suffering. It's not a pain of pushing away. It's not the pain of suffering, of denial. It's not the same pain that happened then, because you're not the same person that it was then. And there's much more depth to the maturity, to the mature human than there is in the childhood, the child that was vulnerable at X years old. It's not the same. We've moved through time. The child is coming up from back there, from many years ago, and it seems the same because the frozenness or the pain of the retraction or the wounding or the hurt that happened then was excruciating, very possibly existentially, emotionally. And so when the pain comes up into this present moment, for you to love it, for us to love it, it feels as though it's the same pain as it was then. But we're not the same person. We're more open than that. We have more capacity than that. We have more strength. We have more inner courage than that. And so we need to kind of experiment with that. Open up a little bit, open up a little bit, open up a little bit. And the reason I'm talking about these is because those unconscious, patterns that are seeking the light of love and awareness in us are more likely to get triggered and exacerbated in relationship. And that relationship's not necessarily just relationship with a significant other. It could be relationship with the family, of course. But, that's very complex, isn't it? Relationship with the world, a relationship with the body. A lot to do with the relationship with the body. But the call is to open deeper and deeper and deeper. That's where the transformation is. To have the awareness to see that the patterns are unfolding themselves, like they've been folded up, and now here they are, like a butterfly that's been trapped. It's unfolding its wings into love. And you are that love, and I am that love, and that love is not the personal love. That love is the love of a deep awareness, a deep consciousness, a deep capacity to be open with all of it as it unravels itself within you. That's what we're for the past to unravel itself in us. And that kind of resolves some of the unconscious karma that we carry around unwittingly, that we have a tendency to then project out into the world or onto ourselves. This is a kind of end of that. This is the falling into the depth of equanimity and grace that allows the unconscious patterns to resolve themselves into the light of being.